Welcome back. Rajesh Kothari is still waiting for us patiently. Rajesh, I really appreciate your patience. Let's start by understanding about your travels. I understand you've been traveling across the country, meeting your top clients. Tell us what feedback are you getting and how are the discussions happening?
Well, you're right, Ajay. I think it has been a long time since I've traveled because of this COVID travel restrictions. So I traveled, many small parts of the country and as well as, of course, the metro cities. And the mood, if you ask me, the entrepreneur spirit, I think that's something which is very important for the country, and that is basically thriving. And most companies, whether they are large or mid, most of our HNI investors, the family offices, they are also in the process of transforming their businesses. And big companies are actually basically getting benefit out of this because the small players are going to get squeezed further. So from the industry perspective, if you ask me, there are a lot of changes everybody is doing. The transformation is happening, automation is happening, innovation, which little bit kind of took off a backseat because of the COVID issues, is now also becoming the forefront for any business. Number of new product launches, number of companies are talking about it. The process automation, many companies have already implemented it. Few companies which I met, they are talking about a more such implementation over next, 12, 18, 24 months. So by and large, it is like, cautious optimism from corporate India. Of course, everything is subject to pandemic wave 3. So people are assuming that there will not be any major damage going by the recent trends in pandemic 3. So subject to that, people are quite positive. The China Plus One, also is helping in terms of the entrepreneurial spirit. The PLI scheme is also giving further confidence into the revival of Indian economy. Many corporates and many of our HNI clients, they are also having the large businesses. They are also into the investment mode. So they are also doing small, mid-size of kind of capex, depending on the size of their own businesses. So I think it is a overall, if you ask me, it's a good mood from the entrepreneurship of the country. And I think from the market perspective, of course, markets are at all-time high, and people keep asking, what next, which is a separate issue, topic to discuss about. But I think overall it is a good mood from Enterprise India.
Right. Rajesh, you have given a lot of cues on my follow-up question. So let's take a leaf out of the point of automation. In fact, you'll be surprised last week, in fact, last 2 weeks, I've been talking to companies like Honeywell Automation, Hitachi ABB, even Siemens on this very show. And the sense which I'm getting is that the mid-sized corporates are really adopting automation, digitalization, and process enhancements via technology and innovation at a high speed. And these guys' order books are really going through the roof. You tell us, how are you really playing this theme in your portfolios? What kind of businesses do you like? Just for the namesake. And what kind of earnings profile or valuation these guys are trading at?
Well, very good question, Ajay. And I think most of the times whenever we interact or in general in media, people talk about stocks and everything. But one very important pillar, what you are bringing to this topic today, is the automation theme, the innovation theme, and how it is helping the corporates to not only survive, but to grow. And it is going to be an important pillar because if you don't do it, you will keep losing the market share. Traditionally, whenever you talk about innovation, people talk about new product launches. But it is no more restricted to only product launches. It is about the process improvement. It is about the product systems. It is about the channels. It is about the distribution network. It is about the services. Let me give you one example. One of the biggest engineering company, global multinational company in India, which is listed company, they have launched the service as a part of their engineering. It is not only, they are not going to sell only products. One of the largest bearing company, which I was talking to, now they are not going to offer one bearing to the customer. They are going to offer the solution that if you buy my bearings, then for next 10 years, entire bearing system, not only that one particular bearing, I'm talking about the entire machine system, which is the multiple bearings, will be owned by them in terms of the solution. So the things are changing, the business models are evolving, the transformation is happening. Look at, for example, global, 5-6 years back, the Netflix, it has transformed the rental industry business completely, am I right? So there are a number of such innovations are happening across the businesses. So what we do is that, every year when we do the deep dive into the annual reports. Of course, we come to know more about what each of our portfolio companies are doing. And most of our portfolio companies, being their leaders, it is their responsibility to keep innovating and keep upgrading, their products and their distribution and so on and so forth. So one of the, for example, largest, tube companies, which is into steel pipes and tubes, have done the color coated. It's a completely new product range. It's a color coated tube. So it's a different application, which is expanding their market size almost by 30, 40, 50%. So that's a huge, yeah. Similarly, one of our, for example, company which is into our portfolio, they have done the automated sorting centers. It is into express logistic company. They have set up the automated sorting centers, which helps to improve the turnaround time, and it further helps to improve the EBITDA margin. This company's increased EBITDA margin by almost 500 bips in last 2 to 3 years, and that is a remarkable achievement in logistic industry. So I think most of portfolio companies, we keep observing how they are doing in terms of automation and innovation.
Very interesting. Rajesh, apart from this, what else incremental theme are you playing in your portfolio with 12 to 18 month horizon from here? Have you made any changes to your existing portfolios?
Well, I think we keep monitoring, of course, our portfolio companies. The themes which we continue to remain very bullish is specialty chemicals is one theme, and incrementally what we are observing in this space, because the stock price of this company is already skyrocketed. So people keep asking me, what is to do at this valuation? But people fail to understand there is not a single specialty chemical company in India with a 500 crores of profit after tax. So the opportunity is huge. Globally, people are looking at Indian companies. We are the best of the chemistry, best of the domain, best of the expertise, and giant companies who are the best of the standards, the pollution control norms compliance. Most of these companies, they are into aggressive capex mode. One of the largest company in the specialty chemical, which we own in our portfolio, is doing 2,500-3,000 crores capex. Capex of last 5 years, they are going to do over next 2 years. So you can think about the speed of growth. Growth is going to increase. And I would not surprise that most of this company will also look at acquisitions. Acquisition of the companies which are, maybe they are SIC units, maybe they are complementary product portfolio, because you want the infrastructure to be ready as fast as possible. If you do a greenfield, it takes about 3 years. If you acquire a company which has an existing land, building, or infrastructure in place, with the safety standards in place, with the environmental clearance in place, then probably you can shorten that cycle by almost 40 to 50%. So you can probably in 12 months. And many of these companies are going to adopt that approach. So I think specialty chemical companies' earnings growth from here on as well is going to become significantly higher. Of course, right. I would like to give one line that one need to differentiate between commodity companies and specialty chemical companies. So that's the only thing which one need to differentiate. So that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. Rajesh, you're right, but let me play devil's advocate. Whenever in a industry very hectic M&A starts happening, that is also usually a sign of slight desperation setting in, and that M&A activity booms usually in the late cycle, the late phase. So one needs to because promoters start paying over the top to capture growth in the limited window. So if that is not happening, greenfield, brownfield is happening, it's a good sign. There is runway for growth, I guess. What about real estate and infrastructure? There is a lot of contra moves started happening there. Real estate may have moved up, infra hasn't. Anything interested in?
I think the government side, whether it's a central government or state government, they will continue to spend heavily. So what we are doing is that instead of playing infrastructure stocks, because their balance sheets are probably not in the best of the shape, we keep playing the building materials company, which includes cement, which includes pipes, which includes wires, which includes cables, and companies like that. And these companies have a very strong balance sheet. They have very strong B2C businesses, apart from B2B business. And now, both these engines, B2B as well as B2C, they are going to revive. So, for example, one of the largest wire and cable company, which we hold in our portfolio, they have a good part of the business, which they are doing B2B, EPC, because you put more and more real estate, you require wiring for that building and so on and so forth. At the same time, they have a very strong B2C business because it's one of the largest consumer brand in the country. So likewise, we are identifying such businesses which can get tremendous benefit. They are the largest beneficiaries for higher capex done by government, central and state, as well as higher infra spend, and as well as the last point, what you mentioned, the increasing real estate demand. So they are proxy beneficiaries of that. So without taking balance sheet risk, without investing in a company which have a very fractured balance sheet, you have the option to invest in the best of the franchises and keep compounding your wealth.
Right, right. I mean, I can completely understand that. Rajesh, I'm in Lucknow right now and overseeing some construction work at my ancestral place, and I'm dealing with polycabs and Bajaj Electricals, and the feedback at the retail end is that these guys are doing very well and are in very high demand. Lastly, I want to understand from you, Rajesh, what are you cautious on? What are you staying away from? Where valuations are getting fully priced in?
I think what we are cautious about, if you ask me frankly speaking, is the quality of the growth. So while growth is good, what is the underlying quality of that? And it is a more like a bottom up rather than top down. Because when economy is going to expand from low base of 2.5-3% GDP to 5.5-6%, and earnings growth of Nifty is going to be 15, 18, 20%, everything is going to do well. But what is more important is what is sustainable and what is temporary. And second, very important is that what kind of quality of growth you are buying into. And that's where we are becoming more and more diligent, not to get carried away by the momentum, because, everything starts moving up. And at times you underperform because you don't buy the poor quality stocks, but that's fine because it's not going to sustain. So I think word of caution, if you ask me from my side, it is a stick to high quality. Do not invest into poor quality. Don't fall into the trap.
Yes, always enjoy chatting up with you. Thanks very much for your time. With that, it's a wrap on the show. Thanks very much for watching.